Well, today I have. Sorry, I had to do like a Nardwar thing just to start things off. I'm kidding. That's not. I'm gonna cut all this. It's
I
okay.
love it.
We can edit.
Leave it in.
Yeah, yeah. Why not? Maybe I might. I'm too much of a coward for that, I think. Welcome to Make Break. I have Brandon O'Neill of Wine and Warpaint.
Hi.
Hello, Brandon. Thank you for coming to this and joining me on this. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lance. Pumped to hang out with you, man.
Likewise. Honestly, I was wearing a Magic the Gathering hoodie earlier, and I was thinking of you.
This just came up. So we were just in Los Angeles, or I was with me and Colleen and recording a new song, and I was meeting a new producer, and he was like, "What are your some of y'all's hobbies?" And I was like, I've been known to cast a couple spells here and there, and I was just very aware that that probably was not the most endearing hobby. Maybe it was. He was like, "Oh, cool." But in right company, I know it goes over great.
Just right over. He's like, cool.
He's like, I'm into mountain biking. I'm like, that's sick too.
Very cool. Okay. Lots of read across there.
It was great. He was great. That was a great experience.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, I know that you guys are, I don't know how much we can talk about it.
We can talk about anything.
How much can we talk about? Hell yeah. Okay. So you recently met a new producer or
Yep.
someone that you, okay. And that was in Vegas?
Los Angeles.
Oh,
Still
potato.
Exactly.
Whatever.
You can drive, I've heard from them. They, in my head, my East Coast brain, they're like way apart. And then they're like, no, we'll put you on a tour bus and take you to like you can do like a paid trip on a party bus to Las Vegas, which I didn't know from LA. But it's all,
oh, wow.
It's all, not that matters. So it's all way over there for my Virginia brain. We're over here on the East Coast. But that was also really kind of, there's something cool about flying across the country to do something for your art, even if it was just, I was a client paying for the services of the producer I was working with. But it really did kind of change the headspace a little bit, which was really, really fun.
That's so cool as well, because like it's almost like when you've like organized a whole like trip or even like holiday, trip, vacation, whatever. And then you're actually like flying around enjoying and partaking in the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
That already is like a really wild feeling because you're like, wow, I'm actually like this is goods and services are being rendered, which isn't that crazy. But in this space, you're right, that's got to affect headspace a little bit because this is in service of your art. This is in service of your work creatively. Like that's got to be a hell of a feeling.
It's really funny because I think a strength of my creative community that we talk so much about is I feel like, I can list the 5 closest artist friends that I have. All are very grounded and are the way we talk about art and the way we talk about our creative practice is all very grounded in the sense that you can go out and be inspired by the trees. Like you can go out and stick your feet in the sand, like in the dirt, and be connected to and get everything you need from that experience. So that's such a strength, but then it is kind of was a bit foreign for me to be like, no, I'm going to go out and do something a little more, I don't know, typical, which, and to see how that changed the headspace was really, really endearing and exciting. And I've been kind of trying to balance it because I still do believe you can just go outside and stick your feet in the dirt, but you could also, spend X amount and go across the country to work with someone the reason I was working with is a producer named Kyle Black, who's worked with Paramore State Champs, Newfound Glory. He did some Pierce the Veil work, Broadside. It's bands that have made art that has meant a lot to me. And so that's the type of experience where, it all being the same. If I can go out into my backyard, I'm staring at trees right now. It's why kind of inspiring what I keep saying about putting your feet in the dirt. It's like, if I can go back out there, right. If it's all the same, I'll go put my feet in the dirt in Los Angeles and see what kind of springs out of that. I don't know. It's true. That's just what occurs to me is that I truly do believe you don't need to do anything to make art that you find meaningful, but I feel like it was kind of a lot that I did, kind of planning, like you said, planning the trip, getting on the plane, all that stuff.
Mhm. If it's different, then you're going to get different results. And if you're doing different things, you're going to have that growth. I mean, it's not always the case, and there's obviously exceptions to the rule. Ignoring the exceptions, it makes sense that you're going to have like this different, different soil yields and different climes yield different vegetation and have different animals. And like, that's for me is what I'm wondering is like, in terms of where your head was at for that trip. I mean, what was some of the different visuals, symbols, signs, motifs that were showing up for you?
Um, I don't know a ton about Los Angeles, and it's, one of the, in the conversation of the 3-4 biggest cities in the world. It's got all these stereotypes about it, all these, top line Wikipedia lines or whatever. And I was talking to a friend who had never been, and this was my second time in Los Angeles. And
Okay.
I was talking to a friend who'd never been, and I told her, I was like, everything that you've heard about Los Angeles is true. But like, it also is quite cool. And the things that are kind of tough about Los Angeles are evident immediately. Like, the traffic sucks. Like, it's
Yep.
you can't
That's
get
what I hear.
you can't get anywhere without driving. It's not super walkable depending on the area that you're in. Like, as opposed to like a New York where everything, there's integrated subway and all that. And it kind of is all similar to New York, but in a slightly different way. It's all transplants, so sometimes it can be hard to find like a wellspring of a personal culture in a certain area, or an identity of a city, if that even such a thing exists. That all is evident as soon as you get there. And then after spending a week there, I was like, no, I dig this. Like, this is, you can kind of like find the little well springs in the pockets. And like, I mean, culture is just people. So, a city is just, a macro view on a city is just micro views of the people that make up the city. And I had a great experience with the couple people I interacted with there, which was awesome. But some of the images, I mean, it's just hard to not be wooed by some of the typical visions of it. So we went to a brewery that was in a warehouse district. We were across from like some sort of car detailing shop, and there's 40-foot palm trees like in the street. And that's just, I guess that's normal for West Coasters or people who live in climates that aren't like mine. But that just like, I just don't want that to not be freaking cool. That was so cool.
Yeah.
And so, and it's such a stereotype. And I think just like kind of having this sense of, I'm content with whatever this is going to be. And it does feel like a lot of the things coming up are more like in that type of stereotypical Los Angeles space. That was I was trying to be open to that and not try to be like, oh, I need to bring some sort of other ethos into this space. I need to be different. I need to supersede it, or I need to bring my like outside foot in the grass contentment to the Los Angeles. It's like, that's fine. It's all there, and it can interact and coexist, and that was cool. And I also feel like we kind of like worked differently than I'd ever worked before. And maybe that's just I should have answered the question by saying like, we worked differently, but in a way that felt really natural to me, and that I don't feel like I had greenlit that side of myself up to that point.
So cool, because like, you showed up without your preconceived notions, or at least you had them, but then like didn't want to bring them, didn't need to bring that baggage with you.
Right.
You stayed open to it. I think that's such a cool thing, because like, not a lot of people do that. Like, not a lot of people, it feels like not a lot of people are able to do that. They're not able to say like, hey, I'm not gonna take my agenda and spread just apply it to everything. Instead, I'm gonna kind of like maybe allow for some variety up in here.
I think
That's not an easy thing to do.
that's I feel like there's maybe a compliment baked in there. So I'll say thank you to that. But I think I noticed one of my like strengths and weaknesses is that I'm very kind of go with the flow. I can see merit in most things, and I can be content in most situations. And that I think is a strength, but then sometimes can keep me from one, determining what I want, because I see so much merit to what other people are bringing. And then two, can kind of keep me from accessing things about and ways of working and ideas that I maybe wouldn't have accessed because I'm kind of cool with whatever's naturally happening. And so just to land the plane on that is we were so meticulous in this session. Like we did one song in 3 days. And when Kyle said, yeah, it's going to be 3 days, that's like all of the time that we're going to take, I was like, there's no way it's going to take me 3 days to do this one song. Like it's like I've done enough of these, like, and I know the standards that we need to make me in terms of like getting that and then getting it to a point where it can be edited. Like we'll be twiddling our thumbs on the third day being like, what else do you want to work on? And we just went deeper into the meticulousness than I've ever gone. And I loved it. I totally loved it.
Awesome.
And it was just, I don't know. It wasn't ever greenlit in a way. Like, you know, we have different stipulations or we have different limitations if we're limited by time or by energy or by money. We were just going for it really strongly. The example I keep saying is we'd do like a chuk chuk on the strings of the guitar, just all the strings muted, just two strokes, and we did 6 takes of it. And you just hear you hear stories about that stuff, but it's funny because like in the day and age of like everything's edited to Pro Tools and everything's perfectly aligned and everything's perfectly tuned, and you can do polyphonic tuning now, so you don't even need the guitar to be perfectly in tune. Like that, we don't do that type of let's get a little more rake on the strings because I think that'll be better. And what was fun is that every suggestion Kyle made I agreed with and could track. And it was like, I think you're right. I think that if we do that, it will be better. It's just funny because I haven't greenlit that because of my understanding of what I thought I understood about how all this worked or those other limitations I described before. And I have this weird perfectionistic kind of zero in on something. Oh my gosh, I look up and I've spent 4 hours on this side to me.
Right.
That I just hadn't been able to access in a long time, if ever, especially with music. Like, you know, we get in the weeds on stuff, but we got more in the weeds than I ever have. And I mean, even just the stuff that was coming out of the speakers, you know, completely unmixed was kind of blowing me away. So that was really cool.
Wow.
I'm sure I didn't have to go across the country to get that experience, but I was glad to have the experience in any case.
Yeah, exactly. And like to be able to get to that, doesn't matter how you get to it, you get to enjoy it. Also, I'm sure that like taught you no shortage of like, it gave you no shortage of insight that you maybe I don't know, qualify that for me, because like I'm wondering like how much did you learn versus how much had you just not considered diving into. I don't know if there's much of a distinction there, but
I was very grateful. You know, we worked with a producer in Atlanta named Matt Goldman, who'd worked with a lot of great label acts in 2017. And then I worked with Will Beasley, who is Richmond-based, and he's worked with some killer label acts as well. But other than that, I do most everything myself, or I do most stuff with Taylor, who plays bass in the band. And so it was kind of nice. Every time I go in and work with a producer, I'm on the one hand grateful that what they're doing isn't blowing me away, in the sense of like, if I go in and I'm like, what are you like, what is this? How come no one has ever told me this? I would almost feel like, what have I been doing like this whole time? If like,
yeah, on balance,
it's some of the basics, you know, if it's like a basic thing, like I look at the drum setup and I'm like, the drum miking setup, and I'm like, yeah, I understand. I would have made similar choices, and that is encouraging. That I come in and I'm not like, oh, there's some like trick that I've been missing for all these years. It's like kind of nice to be like, I understand the process of what's going on here, even just from a technical standpoint. So that's all, like equally encouraging. And then that we've got that side that's validating, and then this side that's like, man, I thought that we were I thought we didn't have time for this type of stuff. I thought we had superseded this level of like meticulousness about the specifics. I thought we were, I thought people didn't like overly produced things. I thought all these narratives in my head
Right.
that
Okay.
I feel like I just got to wade in that water again. It feels a lot like when I was a kid and I was I would get super. I mean, my wife will tell you that if I'll say, well, you said this, and she's like, not everyone needs like a photographic transcript like read back to them when we're having an argument, and you know what I meant, so why does that matter exactly what I said? Like, just
Right.
have that perfectionistic side that was
Wow.
really fun to like greenlight to go about. I still don't
Nice.
know. I've been trying to think a lot about how the heck am I going to take this and apply it moving forward, because I want to try some way to keep making like this, because it was so edifying, so encouraging. I think it's going to like make a big difference in the final sound. But yeah, kind of like equal parts. I'm glad I wasn't floored by some of the technicals, and then was kind of floored by stuff that really just felt like unearthing things within me.
Super cool. So it was more conceptual, not technical.
I mean, he was the fastest guy I'd ever seen work in Pro Tools ever.
Oh, really? Just like short keys and shortcuts and everything,
I
eh?
kind of joke about I move quite quickly, so I make most of my money from graphic and web design. So like I am trying to like get things done quickly. So I'm a very like shortcut person. And I was like, I've never seen anyone work as fast as me in some of these other programs that I use in Pro Tools, and he was working faster. So I
And
mean, to a certain extent, like I say, like I wasn't blown away by the fact that he put a Sennheiser 421 on a tom mic. Like that doesn't blow me away. But like the way that he's got his Pro Tools file set up so that every take, everything's ready. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, what can we do? Like a Mellotron sound on that? Do you have that? Boom, pulled up. Mellotron, ready to go. Like it was. I mean, it's not that I
mm.
wasn't blown away. He was still incredible, like still incredible dude.
Very specific things.
Yeah.
I was really blown away by his folderings.
I was like, wow,
Hell
the
yeah.
amount of time that you
Love
took
that.
to set up this template so that when I request this one thing, you can immediately have it going like seconds
Just
later.
damn.
Takes a lot of work on
That's
at some
super
point
cool.
you spend a lot of work on that.
Of course. And that's the thing is like, I mean, at some point we make these things so that we can like break the back of this like slog that it's taking us.
Well, it's in
We can see
service
that
to
it's
the
like,
creativity too. You spend less time on it.
yeah. Yeah. I don't want to have to like try to search for things that I need. Having it to hand is so everyone knows this. Everyone knows this is not there's nothing new to it, but at the same time, like there is that initial work where it's like I am spending hours here so that I can save net. Well, net will be crazy amounts, but like per retrieval, maybe 12, 15
Yeah.
seconds. That's a lot of time over the long term. You know what I mean? And as an artist, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you have to think about when you're doing the actual honest work of creating instead of prompting something else, let's say, to create in your stead. I mean, already a pot shot at AI. What are we in? Oh, 18 minutes in. Okay, cool. All
Didn't
right,
take long.
right on. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty reserved for me,
Yeah.
but like, it's incredibly hypocritical at the same time because I use AI tools all the time
Of course.
to like the stuff that is low hanging. It kind of yeah, because like I'm trying to like do what am I going to do? Just hire an agency to do? Absolutely not, brother. I got no overhead. I got the budget is zero. Okay,
You
so
gotta keep our mastery of it up too, so that it doesn't replace us.
yeah, that's the thing.
We have
Is
to be
like
smarter.
I do. Yeah, it just forces us to like specialize and double down on the
Right.
things that we love and that we're good at. Like I do see that people are like, "Oh my god, like what's the point in even writing anymore?" And I'm like, "Is that it? Like oh you are joking though, right?
Mm.
Because like there's no AI writing that blows me away.
Mm.
There's none. There's zero. So there's just none. Like you can't there is nothing that gets created that like actually is of significance because it's autocomplete. It's just a big and that might flare some some nostrils, but like that's literally what it kind of is. Like it's very much a regression to the mean. So being a person who prefers like things to be very much difficult to enjoy, very much disturbing, very much different, dark, edgy, whatever. I'm an edgelord. Um, no, AI anything is not going to really like impress or do very much for me.
Do you think that it could though at one
Yeah.
point? I'm in this strange like kind of like I'm not an apologist for AI and I'm actively creating art and understand all of the threats that it poses to the art making process, but like I annoy my wife by being a little more open-handed with some of it, and I annoy
Yeah,
other
I said
people
this
by
is
it.
it.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. So understanding that the large language model can put out whatever is prompted by, and you're saying nothing it
Mhm.
makes impresses you. What if we prompted it to do something that would impress you?
So this is interesting because normally I am the apologist that keeps his mouth shut.
Yeah.
So this is about as apologist as I'm going to be.
Sweet.
Okay. And in fact, maybe even like pro, in a weird way, because like how I see it these days on my particular little echo chamber of, i.e., feed stream content machine, either TikTok or Instagram that I'm scrolling through. So I have a daily regimen. Well, I used to have a daily regimen up until like a week ago, and then I just kind of let all my socials go kaput for a bit.
Yep.
Because I just decided, you know what? Don't give a shit. I'm going to take a break.
I deleted Instagram, by the way. Keep going. Just gone. Off the phone. Well, I didn't delete the accounts.
I mean, not. Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, you didn't delete Wine Warpaint's Instagram account.
I don't have.
Surely, because I'm like, yeah, that's like actually kind of like a bummer for fans.
No, I don't have
if
the
that is the case, but
for
no,
that. I wish, but no.
No, and I don't think it's even about Kahoot. It's about like allowing for an entry point for people. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if they gave enough of a shit, yes, they would. I'm sure they would love to like enter in like a long URL that you put in like a sticker on like a fucking bathroom stall somewhere.
Blogger.com
like
/wineandwarpaint.html. So you said you were gonna. I cut you off though. So you had a regimen.
No, it's
the stuff that you see that's getting fed to you.
Yeah, and excellent memory. God damn. Oh. What must it be like? I'm like,
this is the stuff that makes my wife so mad. Like I said earlier.
It's what makes me mad about my wife. Okay, so like roles are flipped, but I'm loving this.
It's not really useful all the time.
It's super useful because I can ask her like, hey, what happened? What took place on the evening of October 18th, 2024? And she's like,
we were watching The Wire. We just finished season 1 of The Wire, and I was her built-in recap.
Incredible. So I love it. Just, I mean, that it's funny. That's the one thing I will be the hold on. Sorry.
You get it?
That was a fly. Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry, fella. I apologize. But also, get to fa.
Yeah.
Okay. So getting back to the thing, which was my feed, the stuff that I'm seeing all the time that's being fed to me is just like straight up like, it all sucks. There's no ifs. There's another one. That was not the same one. That's a different one. I promise you, I keep a clean house. What is going on here? It's nuts. Anyway, you do you, mister. Your friend was not as fortunate.
You sent a message.
I did. It wasn't an effective one, but I did send a message. Yeah. I'm kind of like Reader's Digest, by the way. It says continued on page 74. I'm just reading different things up until that point. I just kind of read through.
Until we flip the page.
Exactly. Yeah. So flipping the page, everyone's just anti it, like AI. And I'm like, yeah, of course, you're right. And I also use it to synthesize ideas so that I'm not taking so much more of that time so that I can use it for the stuff that actually, quote unquote, actually matters. If what I'm doing, a lot of what I was doing was busy work. And I don't think that I can afford to do that all the time. If like I want to summarize like an entire series of, points that were covered in a meeting. Okay. I don't want to have to take that email would have taken me like 30 minutes easy because I get very easily distracted. And that is not an excuse. Oh, I have ADHD. Well, So does everyone, apparently. So let's just get in line. But I think that the main criticism comes from a place of like, shouldn't you be allowed to take time? Like, shouldn't you be allowed to not have to like,
Mm.
you know, like extract every possible, like juice every single little second that you can out of existence, constantly searching for efficiencies where previously it was just an accepted cost of doing business? To which I say, pish posh. I want all the efficiencies. And in actual fact, like if I'm being honest, like I don't know, man. I feel like that's it's it's yet another extrapolation of what we've been doing for such a long time. We want to like we've been having this conversation over and over and over again, and people are saying again like, oh, this is unprecedented, like this is very different. To which I say, is it though?
That's where I land.
Is it different?
That's where I land, and it's an annoying place to land because I can't. No one will put me into their. I can't make a headline because everything I said is too much in the middle. But
yep,
to us, like that's people saying equally, this will be our undoing, and this will have no impact. They're both untrue, and that's such a boring thing to say. I was at. It's
true. We're the boring ones, right?
I guess, like it, and we'll have to find a way to exist within it. And I also think
Russell someone's jimmies.
I guess. And I saw a band who I love, who is I've bought their banner that's on my wall back there, and I'm gonna levy a criticism against them because I appreciate them so much. Is they were very stridently non-automated. Their live show was non-automated, so they didn't have any tracks. They had some video and lighting components that were being triggered by a person on side stage, which is super cool. And I question the arbitrariness of the line where they draw it. So they're content to use time-based effects, but they're not content to use time-based effects that are predetermined, maybe, even though there's a certain amount of predetermination in all technology, but the predetermination that they were going against was the quote-unquote synthesis of something in real time in that moment, which I guess is cool, and I think someone needs to do it, and I'm glad that they're doing it, and it contributes to my thought processes about it, but I don't embrace it as the preferred ethos on this whole thing.
God damn, that's such a well-considered, what a what a very considered, nuanced take. Fuck, wow.
I feel like it might be a boring take when I hear nuanced take. Maybe that just means boring.
That's the thing is, and maybe like that's what's really funny is that I feel like that's the right answer though. I know that there is no right and wrong. Whatever.
Well, I think so. No, I mean, that's
that,
like, I started my whole life when I was younger, I would have said, no, this is the way to do it. And now I say with the same amount of like fire and vigor, this is the way to do it. And it's just that the thing that I'm saying is now something in the middle and not a black or white, or like, I would be like, they're right or they're wrong. And now I'm saying, I'm saying they're right and they're wrong. And that's the right answer.
Correct. Yeah. Two things can be true. And that's the thing that I am vehemently for, because
I'm vehemently for both things being true.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing is like the boring answer is that's where the juice is. That's what people don't recognize. It's like, that's the thing that always annoys me when people are like, I don't know, like anyone who's like into like major, completely just wild conspiracies, like, you know, a flat earth, or I don't know, COVID completely made up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like stuff that's like, so it's like, it just skates past so many humans that are supposed to be doing that do those jobs, that it's saying like, no, that none of that exists. That no mas.
100%.
Nobody. it's like, why on earth would people be so much better at in this made up reality than you're making them out than they actually are? Like, I'm sorry, but nobody can keep a secret these days. I mean, flat Earth to what end? I don't understand it. I don't. For why?
I had that conversation.
Because
I've had a couple of those types of conversations. Yeah.
Have you? That's fun. That is nuts to me.
It's fun. It's not, you know, you got to find some people in the wild sometimes, but it definitely is fun.
I get the sense that you're not nearly as much of a hipster dickhead as I am about, or have been in the past, because I am such a dick about it that I am the problem. I'm perpetuating the problem. I'm just feeding that. It's like,
yeah, it's like you're feeding the sense of the thing that entrenches people further is their feeling of
being criticized,
knowing who they are on the outside, and you are very happily
just stoking it,
happily being
just pouring that
the other for them of like, you're such an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, just being a snide, snarky prick about it. And I've dropped that.
That's the thing that then takes, you know, they would say that it's the knowledge and the awareness that is that, but really what it is that you're giving them the things that allow them to entrench their identity, and it's an identity position, which again, boring answer, but we all want to feel right about stuff, and it feels really good to have found when the big reveal happens at the end of the movie, we all feel good, and that's what we want to feel all the time. We just do it irresponsibly. People do it irresponsibly. You just can't just pick whatever you want.
I like that as like the big reveal at the end where it's like, this was the lesson all along. Ah, see? That's my lesson. That's what I align myself to.
Yeah.
You see? You know? It's
just the feeling. It's not even the thing itself. I resonate with what you said about like I don't know what it was. Is it a byproduct of the information age, or was it COVID happening in real time and people getting things wrong in real time that then made people feel that they had some sort of obligation to be more skeptical than they were before? Because we had the internet in 2011, but I feel like it wasn't the rhetoric wasn't as intense as maybe it's been in the past 5 years or so. It also has cooled off a little bit.
I don't know. I think that what it was is like the way that people disagreed was much more disaffected previously. Like, I feel like anything prior to 2012, there was such a like, to me, those are like the Vice years, as it were, where I used the word hipster quite deliberately because I remember a time when even using the word hipster was so fucking uncool.
Yeah.
Like using the words cool, uncool, ironic, hipster, like you just sort of had to like, I was in Toronto in 2007. These are like clutch years for being like the most hipster anything.
Yeah.
Okay. We were part of the actual friggin' like part of the template being made for the clones that just kept getting pumped out. The denim jackets.
Yes.
And
it was coming out of, it all came from Toronto. It's like the Fertile Crescent.
Largely that and Montreal and, you know, New York. There's so much blood on their hands.
Yes.
So much plaid blood.
So much
in all.
So much IPA blood. Land, make that joke. Punch that up for me, would you?
That's great.
Microbreweries.
That's really good. Craft.
You'll
beer.
figure it out.
Craft.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, we got it. Cask. Boom. All of a sudden, bam, right away, improved. Small batch cask stuff. Yeah, and and also cocaine.
Yes.
It's just the era. This is the problem though, is it like I think that it's really revealing looking back on those years that not one but two like of the most alt-right extremist bastards came from Vice. You know, you got Gav McKines and friggin' Tim Pool, both of which worked at Vice. I mean, Gavin, that guy was like, he was the one doing the Vice do's and don'ts. Remember that shit? So yeah, it was just, it's so revealing that you look at what that they've become since then, and you look at the kind of culture that they were help stoking at the time, to me, I think that caring more is good. The problem is that there's so much dismissiveness and snide, like sardonic, like looking down one's nose at people, that it's actually caused so much irreparable damage, because there are so many people still on, like, in alternative communities that have been acting like that for fucking ever. Now that's a very big stance to take. I don't want to get too pedantic or anything.
No,
here.
I at least appreciate the thought that, because I often think about, we have conversations in my house a lot about the generations. My wife's a math teacher, and she'll often say things are different in this way, they're worse in this way, and I'm like, they've always been worse, it's just a different thing that has caused it to be worse. It's just coming out in a different way. And she's like, yes, but also it's worse. And I feel like I appreciate the thought that there didn't used to be so much of a sardonic way of disagreeing, of that now we're afraid to be wrong, or we've realized that the only way to supersede that kind of like over the nose look that you get is to try to go over that nose, as opposed
to dunk on someone.
Yeah, and then like if you're gonna get dunked on, you better be ready to dunk on them, as opposed to you know, having some sort of like, as opposed to it coming down like this, or coming down from the top, that you'd come at it equally, at least in terms of your posture, not in terms of your knowledge or whatever, but at least in terms of your the disagreement,
the vibe that you're bringing to it. Yeah,
just the word choice, you know, that you can disagree in a way that doesn't necessitate all caps. Ugh.
That's so true.
But yeah,
it's very true.
I don't know. I don't think I've given that enough credit, as just in my critique. I just feel I've always been desperately afraid to post anything, you know.
Thank you.
Just because of that nuance that we were talking about before. It's like, I'm sure anything I say is probably wrong in some way.
In some way. I mean, I just happened to me the other week. Like, literally, I was posting about entities that there was just entities that have shared. There's this shared trait of different like cryptids across cultures where their feet are backwards. That's all I was looking at. And that's all I was talking about. The way that I had said it, someone picked up on. There's another creator on TikTok, and she was like, I'm sorry, just the way that you're kind of talking about this is a real condition. Like, this is a real thing. And so I like, and so I thought, so she thought that I was like drawing the comparison between like actual people and cryptids.
Oh.
And I could have absolutely dunked on that creator, saying like, oh, clearly you didn't listen to a single thing that I said, and here's how you're wrong in an itemized list. And I didn't take that approach. And because I didn't take that approach, we came to an agreement. We kept like replied back and forth. And then what happened? Nothing. Because you know why? Because there's no engagement to farm there. There's no hate. There's no rage. There's nothing to bait big things of people like with impassioned like swaths of what are you talking about? And what are you talking about? And what are you like? If there's more action, then the algorithm goes, see, that's a thing. Keep showing that to more people. That's literally how it works. And
it feels so broken.
Yes. It's so like lazy as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, how's that a proper way to judge whether or not this is something to keep showing out to people?
It's awful.
Why is that
it sucks. It's awful. It's because we've like kind of gotten to a point now where it like you said, regressed to the mean. Like, kind of coming up like when I was in formative years of there not being any sort of social media interaction, like your online interaction was limited to the people whose screen names you could type out, and you had to have it written down on a piece of paper to type it into your computer. Like, you couldn't search it. You couldn't like see mutual friends. You had to type in with all the X's and all the signs and the squiggles. Like, you had to type it in. in order to like even be able to talk, just one person talking to one person, let alone like the bot farming and the engagement farming and all that crap that's happening now.
Man.
Like it started off as something where we were all blown away by the connections that we could make. And it was pitched to artists and creators as like, you're going to be able to make connections. There's no more gatekeeping. And what happened? We built this horrible gate. It's a terrible gate that is way worse than this. I'm hearing myself. It's way worse than the gates that existed before. It's way worse than the public, the editor-in-chief at such and such, or the head of A&R at such and such a label. They were way better than this crappy algorithm that we have now, that those people won't even talk to you until you're through that gate. And that gate is way worse. Because before there were other things that we were evaluating. There were still metrics being evaluated, but like those metrics were in line, if not like some sort of mutually considered level of credence to other things like artistic quality or uniqueness or energy or whatever it is. Oh, I just like what you guys are doing. Like whatever that means at a micro level, that was at least in the conversation when we're talking about your other metrics. Oh, how well are you doing in your city? Like how many people came out to your last show? Now, if you're not through that first algorithm gate, which is, what are they doing there? We're trying to get people to like pop off. We're trying to like do things. You can't do what you're doing. You have to do what the algorithm rewards. You can't just do what you do. Right. Which is what we were told back when all this was coming around, is that's what you could do. You could do what you do and find people who connect with what you do. And now you can't do that because no one's feed is even showing them what they want. It's only showing them what they engage with, which is not what they want. It's not what any of us want. Sorry, I got intense.
No, I love that. And that's you like, where's the lie? Sorry, but like, come on, people. Come on, sheeple. Look, where there's nothing that you just said was incorrect in any way, shape, or form.
So much rather have like some slimy A&R person making the decisions than a disembodied set of parameters that no one can even define, and that changes all the time, and that if we are defining it, it's rewarding rage. Like, what is it? There's an acronym that I always forget. I'm gonna look it up. I always forget what's the acronym about social media. Let's see.
Like the 7 sins or no?
Oh, I can't think of it. I'll try to find it later. I thought I had asked ChatGPT before, but it didn't know. So talk about AI. It's like the things that like rage, novelty, immediate reward, like that, different kind of things.
Oh, gratification,
like
maybe
the different
something
things,
like that.
the ways to like
trigger an emotional response or a dopamine response.
Like that.
Because you're right, because that is actually, that's why marketing is so much more just, we'll talk about regression to them. It's basically using the most.
It's
what is
an acronym coined by the CEO of BuzzFeed called SNARF. It's stakes, which is a hilarious choice. Stakes, novelty, anger, retention, and fear.
Wow.
One way of describing the algorithm, but like, wow, if that's on the menu, what are we doing? Why do we want to do that? You get that from your everyday life. Like, why would we build something that rewards that? Stupid. I
guess it is. And like the thing that I guess this is where, when people people turn up their so this is a really weird place to come in from, but I think that there's a worthwhile bit of my own personal like experience here. And I think when I was working in compliance, yes, I did that. Yes, it was in the financial services industry. What? In England. What?
The paper.
I was a conduct compliance manager at Mercedes-Benz Financial Services in the UK. So touch niche. And you're probably wondering, okay, whatever path you're going to take to connect these two dots, by all means, that'll be interesting. Why I'm taking it and why I'm making it is that those two, that specific way of regulation was values based. And I noticed that when they stopped talking about the actual, like, offenses themselves and instead talked about the conduct in more of like they still have very prescriptive things, but basically how it works for them now is like, if you're in contravention of any of these specific codes of conduct, and they're like almost like commandments, right? Except they're less prescriptive than those commandments. Like, the commandments are still talking about like, thou shalt not kill. This is less about that. This is about like, I will treat customers in a way that is open, fair, and reasonable. You know what I mean? And it's like, when you give these larger aspects of things, these larger values, that is where there's a lot more impact available. And I think that the very idea of regulating behavior in the first place is something that's so unsexy and so unappealing to so many people, because that's what we've been kicking out of, that we've been booting their heads about this for decades, saying, oh, we resist every type of establishment. That's part of the establishment. And it's like, okay. So I know that punk and hardcore and all these things are anti-establishment. For a touch of context, this was during the Reagan era. So like this was a response to, like, you know, the most incredible gouging out of any type of like systemic communal type of activity of all time. Like, there's no, like, the closing of the commons has less on the Reagan era than this, you know what I mean? Like, so to me, I think that the way that we can regulate this, if we can take values and apply it to this from an outside perspective, if regulators actually did their job, is basically what I'm trying to get at, that they say that they do, then that's the beauty of it. Guess what is not happening is that, and in fact, we saw some pretty wild shit take place in service of keeping the tech companies as they are. They were like, no, no, thank you. We'll keep that just as it is. Thank you very much. We really don't want to have to deal with like human. Blech, it's gross. Let's just keep the AI thing going. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to be able to like have fun little couplets.
Oh, I feel like
on a whim, you know,
just whenever
I want, about whatever,
anything.
Chat, write me a couplet about Brandon's facial features, and it'll do it.
It'll do it. It without even knowing it. It'll get it wrong.
It'll get her very.
I've always
sure
even going back, I'm sure that this stance will evolve, but I feel like the idea of deregulation is great if people do the right thing. And then when you're talking about like right thing, it's like, how are we defining that? And essentially what you're saying is, at its worst, you just want to be able to do whatever you want. Well, what if what you do infringes on someone else's, not even just their rights, but like their way of life? Like, of course, if it's infringing on their rights, like, but then like, what if it's affecting someone in a way that, you know, they would deem is really, really important and really matters a lot? And then people aren't willing to have that conversation. So then the government has to step in and do something about it. And it's like, of course, like why would we trust Alphabet to care about anything other than their bottom line? That's
correct.
Maybe they do. You know, companies are made up of people. I haven't seen it play out, especially from, but also like I had this thought the other day. I was like, maybe the companies that are like the CEOs and the boardrooms of the, you know, the people that make up the organization, because organizations are just people made up with, and we talk about them as if they're not people, they're people. And maybe the ones I'm not hearing about are the ones that are doing the great humanitarian work. Like, I just only ever hear about the ones that need to be regulated.
The same way that you and I are not going to cause a stir because we're taking like purposefully like incendiary stances on stuff.
Why would someone post about people getting, you know, twice the cost of living raise across the whole company? Why would that make a headline?
It's not. It's
which goes back to my whole thing about like what we're being fed, which is stupid,
and what we're creating as a result.
Yes,
it's just
we're being encouraged to create and contribute.
Yeah, it's the crazier and more batshit we can be, the more disingenuous and insane we can be, the more blood, sex, murder, drugs, death, etc., doom, gloom, etc. we can present. That tracks. I mean, I don't know. As a creator, it must be quite daunting at the same time, and yet, I do want to kind of bring it back to something that's almost a little bit like, it's not cold comfort. I really do believe in this, is that with each new step that we take, and I know that we're taking it more and faster, and yeah, it's getting crazier. It's okay. It's going to get even crazier, okay? At some point, maybe we're not even going to have to be in the same room together to procreate. That's going to ruffle some jimmies. I get it. I understand it.
Yes.
That sucks. It's so I don't like that. There's a great I don't know. I feel like you ever seen The Cube? It's a great Canadian horror.
I have
sci-fi horror film.
Read the Wikipedia page on The Cube. I have not seen the movie.
You and I are such kindred souls because I love that that's a possibility that I've read the Wikipedia page for it, but I actually haven't watched the film. I don't know who has the time.
Well, I also don't really like if it's anywhere in like the horror zone. I'm not interested.
Oh, you're not
interested.
Okay, all right.
In general.
Well,
wait, is this the 1969 movie? I have not seen this.
No, not 1969. Okay. It'll be 1990 something.
97.
Yes, Cube.
No, yeah. I don't know anything about this, so talk to me.
Okay, so in it, look. Okay, so the whole point of the film, and there might be spoilers. I don't give a shit.
I was thinking of The Box.
It was out in 97.
The Box was what I was thinking.
The Box.
Different one. Different movie.
Oh. Okay. Well, this one might be quite different. In this one, prisoners wake up in a room, and it turns out that room is connected to another series of rooms in you guessed it, cube. And the cube's rooms are all shifting imperceptibly at all times. So there's like this part where prisoners start to kind of like find each other. And this is where like the start of the film happens, is that, and all of the rooms, by the way, I'll save you the graphic nature of why this is a horror film, is that all these rooms are booby trapped in different ways. And it's pretty grim. And this is like the new way of dealing with prisoners now. So, and you don't get any sort of like insight into what the world or universe is, or what society even is outside of this. You at its best, you get to like the perimeter of the cube, and then it's just an abyss. And it's so bleak and grim. And I kind of love it because there's a central message in there. There's these two characters. There's got this one conspiracy theorist, and you got this one nasty nihilist. And the conspiracy theorist is like, this is you do one. This is why everything that we do contributes to this one crazy mega conspiracy of the elites. And you make one gadget that goes into the central component of a death machine somewhere. And at that point in the film, the dialogue gets a retort from the nihilist, and he goes, "Don't you see? It's a headless blunder. There is no great conspiracy. This is just, it just exists. It's just the thing that we've made. There is no great mind behind this. It's just what we've done." And I feel like
a headless blunder.
A headless blunder. Yeah, it was so good that I think Agoraphobic Nosebleed used it as a sample in one of their songs. It was a good choice. And I come back to it over and over. It's a good one. A headless blunder.
I love that.
I think that's what we've made.
Oh, for sure.
Isn't it perfect? Isn't it fitting?
It's so fitting. 100%. And it's the only thing we would add is it's a headless blender that makes money. That that people have figured out how to monetize. It's like we didn't really care what we were going to make. We just wanted this particular outcome that includes ad payments.
And that means that like there's room for opportunity now. This is where we're gonna be the annoying positivists. We're gonna be the
I love being
people that see an opportunity. Me too. And that's that. Hey, listen. Otherwise, man, I would have been in the river a long time ago. Okay, so you gotta just believe that there's something worthwhile. And so go ahead and let's be creative for a second here and see like, okay, we see what's broken. Let's make something that breaks that in return.
Yeah.
Not just for that purpose. Let's break out of that. Let's make something that breaks out of that. And that's kind of the theme of this show, by the way. It's
okay.
a bit of a branded return to form.
Let's go.
But in all seriousness, like, how do we break out of that system? And so what do we do differently to live outside of that very closed, very gated? It's like a gated set of gates. It's nuts. It's this headless blender. So what do we do to get outside of it? And I think I have some semblance of some ideas.
Yeah, I have some functional ones that I apply to my own life.
Dude.
It's always micro. I always think like the macro is made up of micro, and I think people forget that. That to me is that kind of like grassroots, like kind of DIY ethos anyway, is how do we create culture in our community by making stuff that is sick and by engaging meaningfully with each other in ways that make everybody better. And then suddenly you look up and you're like, oh, wow, we have a community. Oh, wow, we have a culture. Oh, wow, we have a city that has a reputation. I'm just not super interested in in them. Like I'm interested in knowing about the macro and discussing it like we've been doing. I'm not interested in affecting the macro because I don't know if you can other than just affecting the micro. At least I'll say this just for me. Just like for me, that's what I do is I will be like, so I mentioned earlier, I deleted the Instagram app and I log on to posts to give, like you said, people a platform to, I don't remember if that was before or after we started recording, but to give people the
noise for during.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
To give people an access point. And I'm happy that makes me happy. I think that's cool. I can't do it. I can't be on the app. There's too much negative. And as soon as I deleted it, my life got better. And so that's not true for everybody. My wife uses Instagram every day and has a great time and a wonderful inner world and healthy mentals and all that, which is great. But I'm out because the way that it is currently functioning is not good for me. So I think you have to at that micro level, you just sit back and reflect and look up at the sky and be like, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? And so much we take for granted of the things that are right in front of us that we're putting into ourselves that we realize we have some control over. And it's back to where we started of going out and putting your feet in the dirt and being like, is there enough for me here even? And I would contend that there is. And from there, you make decisions based off of your community, the people closest to you, if it's your family or your chosen family, if it's your work, if it's what you do with your time, if it's the media you consume, if it's the social platforms that you use, if it's the places that you buy from. At the end of the day, that's all you have is what you are and what you do. And so that would break the system for you. And the system is going to continue on because there is way more investment in that and fail-safes and safeguards and backups of the backup that will probably persist in some way forever. But when you break that for yourself, it's broken. It is broken. And if that's available, anyone can do that. You can break whatever system is going on in your life. There are tools to break any system that you are stuck in. And or to manage it. And that to me is like where the power is. I think some of the things that I would propose too are just like dinners with people that you like and going to shows, like going to see live music of a band you've never heard of. And like it might suck, and that's cool. And that's part of why me and my wife are big SNL fans. Part of why we love SNL is because any week it might suck. And that's like, it's kind of come to the point where it's like, I want something in my life that like, I don't know if it's going to suck or not. Like it might be the best thing I've ever seen. It might be terrible. And when it's terrible, I'm like, oh my God, that was terrible. And I'm so glad that I watched it, because part of what is great about it is that it kind of sucked and people took this risk. There's all this goodness baked into the fact that it didn't go over well. And like you get that with live entertainment, with live experiences. Kind of going back to what I said about that band that I went to see, like they are slavishly devoted to the uniqueness of the present moment. And there's ways to engage with that. You can always engage with it. I don't know. I'm so ready to hear other more all-encompassing ways to break the systems, because I feel like I just very pragmatically go to, I don't know, but try to do something differently in your own life.
I think that's like the most important part, though. Like I know that's so the problem is that it's like the thing that big companies and conglomerates use is to cudgel over the heads of the people that have nothing really to do with that. It's like whenever there's I see at a gas station, it's like, hey, make sure you don't spill any gas, because you don't want to wreck the environment. I'm like, the fuck are you on about, sweetheart? What are you're gonna go march your ass over to the fucking tar sands over there in Fort McMurray? Like, listen, what the temerity, the level of like hypocrisy there is just like, I know y'all didn't just do that, right? Like, that's insane. But this is what I'm saying is like, at the same and it's also true that don't fucking spill any gas.
Felt that way about, I was in a hotel the other day and they were like, help us to conserve water by reusing your towels. I was like, dude, this is a 6-story hotel with how many like rooms in it? This was not an economical decision to build this complex. No. Like, or an environmental, this is not like an environmental decision. You weren't like, how do I serve the environment? I'm going to build a hotel. It's like, come on, man. Yeah. Like,
I mean, the only way it could have been worse was if it was a fucking golf course.
Or it was different.
Okay?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you get on to golf courses. It was actually worse than that. It was like, turn your lights off when you leave the room. It's like, I can even get like the water conservation one was like, turn off the light. And it's like, there's 2 lights in this room, and the energy flowing through for the 3 hours that I'm out in this hotel building, you leave the lights on in the lobby, like. But
there you go.
We're coming back to what you said before. It's like,
but I'll still do it. I'll still do it. Why? Because I'm not doing it because they're asking. Fuck them. But my God. Yeah, I'm not gonna just like toss my towel on I'm gonna reuse it, even if I know that I'm in like a 5-star hotel or whatever the hell it is. I'm not an animal. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna.
I do care about the environment.
I do, but also y'all should not be speaking to it. Like, it does, and that's the beauty of it, right? Is that they get to enjoy because they're not wrong. But then also they like to get to deflect that slopey shoulder of, well, actually, if people didn't want this service, we'd be out of a job. Like, and you're selling
and they'll show me the data of like, we actually can measure how much energy consumption there was before and after we put up that sign, and I'll be like, ugh, fine.
And that's it. It's like, even with that reminder though, is I can also show you another one that shows the drain on the grid prior to you guys being around. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts? That's pretty wild, huh?
But I did need a place to stay tonight. And then we're back where we
That's
started.
true. And that's the thing is we get so because the smarter you are, the more you can see, and the more you can see, the more complex it is. And then eventually you kind of get so bunged up with, oh man, like this is why I like spoilers for The Good Place, but this is why in The Good Place,
top 5 show.
Love that. Oh, beautiful. Love it. You talked about The Wire, Good Place, nowhere near obviously, but like also pretty sick.
Not as far apart maybe as we think they are.
No, not as far apart that like, there's definitely some insight to be gleaned in The Good Place. It says like in modern society, like just facts, man, like you're just by virtue of being part of it, you're contributing to the heat death of this planet and or whatever. Like if that's not your big bugaboo, then like just by sheer virtue of me banking with a certain bank, me having a friggin' mutual fund with God knows what. Please don't buy mutual funds for God's sake. Me holding my like having this ETF versus that one. I mean, like you're still contributing in some way just by having stuff or drawing breath in a certain particular place at a particular time. You're drafted, you're conscripted into this. Anyway, so all that is to say, with The Good Place, they do point this out. Like, even if you try deliberately, but I think that there's still importance in trying. Right? And that's what you're saying. You're saying, just try. Just do it anyway. Think globally, act locally. I mean, you're doing it, are you not?
Gots to. Because it's like the way to like you can unshackle yourself, and that is still freedom.
Thank you.
Even if it's not, if you like in The Good Place, the example was someone bought. I think this is the example. Someone bought flowers for their significant other, and that was a negative point. Because of all of the things that contributed, the gas they drove to the store and the farming practices and all that stuff actually was a net negative on society when they bought flowers for their significant other.
Yeah.
But what happens is when you feel an urge to be generous and you drive to the store to buy flowers for your significant other, or you feel the urge to be generous and you decide to give to a local charity, and your net score is going to be negative if we're looking at it from that like totality level, because, oh, well, that charity's not in a good spot right now and they're way out of balance with their actual needs versus their personnel costs. But what happens is that when you decide to be generous and make that generous movement, you get transformed and you are a more generous person. And those effects are true. And we can continue to have the conversations to try to improve the things that we do to have the best benefit possible. That's fine. But like that stuff happens immediately. And it is true. And there's nothing any of the outcomes can do to change that.
It's kind of like the conversation of like fail and fail fast, make shitty art. You know the way to make good art? Make shitty art. I love that so much because
get it going.
Just go. Just do something. Just do something. Just got to do something, dude. You can't just sit. You can't be frozen. Don't dig your heels in. Don't do that, because then they win, whoever they are.
Yes.
Insert your whatever they are. Please, for the love of God, be mindful about who your they are. Not enough of the lizard people. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Enough.
I have enjoyed, as always, every time I've ever spoken with you, I've just been like, damn, fire in the booth. Love it.
I do love talking with you too, Lance. We have a good time.
We do, man. We are like, we get it.
I think so. I think we'd have some fun. We'd have some really elongated like coffees and drinks, I think, if we were in a similar city.
Yeah, but then why? But I don't understand. Are you saying that we would speak and not have content? I don't understand. That just doesn't make much sense to me. I want to be able to market.
Well, it would be a waste of time. That's for sure.
You mean having like shared thoughts and experience? What madness!
We get both.
No,
if I can have a nice time and we get content, even better.
Well, this is it. That's best of all worlds, right? I mean, this was really just. There's actually like the podcast is so much so that it's just honestly a ploy to talk to people.
Perfect.
That's all it is.
Perfect.
That's all it is. No, and I appreciate having you on, and I just. God, God, I really love the message that we arrived at today. I really am pumped about it. Like, I want to go out and do something. I think if anyone can glean anything from this, it's just like, yeah, it's all terrible, etc. And get your ass out there and go do the thing that's required, because
that's all you got.
Too bad.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
That's all you got. That's all there is.
Yeah. I need to tell myself, I mean, I'm not good at it, but
yeah, I mean, me neither. I'm gotta be joking.
But I do believe it. Even though I don't live it.
Me too. It's like, oh God, who said? Brian Ferry. He said, more than this. You know, there's nothing more than this. Tell me one thing more than this. You can't. I mean, he didn't say you can't. It's not part of the song.
But you can't.
It's implied.
Yes.
You can't. Exactly.
Yeah.
My man. Next time we're going to talk about how else to save and improve the planet. It'll be like a pay it forward V 2.0.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. Keep the movement alive. Wine and Warpaint. If they're coming to a city near you or your city, you need to go watch them. Not just watch them, be with them spiritually, physically, emotionally.
Absolutely.
Are you guys doing any shows soon?
Nothing booked yet, but we will.
Shameless self-plug time.
Shameless self-plug time. I have some asks out about some shows that will hopefully be confirmed here very, very soon. And the way to keep in touch with that would be through said social media platforms, or
that are still very much teeming with content. Thank you very much.
Teeming. And the other thing to keep an eye out would be this single that we have coming out. It'll probably come out in the spring, would be my guess. But it's going to be the best sounding thing we've ever done. I'm really excited about it.
That's so cool. And for anyone who's wondering if there's anything to listen to so far, yeah, their debut album is one of the best releases of 2024, man.
Wow. I'm really proud of it.
Is it 2024 already?
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's wild to me. It just feels like it's such a this year type thing. It's nuts.
Yeah, I am very proud of that record, and there's lots of music that we have put out. So it's not like there's a lack of things to listen to for Wine Warpaint.
No, you keep making things.
We just have more coming.
You keep making things. Thank you, and all the best to you, mate. We'll speak to you again very soon.
Lovely.
I know this to be true.
Me too. Thank you, Lance.